Hi Virgo, welcome to your video. Welcome to your reading, I should say, of September. This is the second week of September. And happy birthday. I know that this is the month of all of us. And for those of you who already had a birthday, I hope you had a wonderful time. I know that the circumstances are a little bit weird with this epidemic, but we always find a way of doing things. I myself had a great birthday. And to me, I guess my priority right now is that as long as I feel healthy and as long as I look at life from a positive perspective, that's all that matters. For those of you who have not had a birthday, happy birthday to you and many blessings to you. I also want to thank all of you who are here supporting me in my channel. Whether you have been coming back or whether this is your first time, I totally appreciate you. I totally thank you for being here. And I hope that you can continue to be here, connecting with the messages that the Oracle has to offer you. So now let's begin. Okay, Virgo. So in this cycle, the number that is opening this reading is the 93. And the 93 in numerology talks about happy endings. Congratulations, Virgo. Congratulations if right now you are rejoicing because there are many things in your life that are going exactly your way. Very happy for you. These happy endings can also relate that you are super excited because it's your birthday and you're looking forward to enjoy your birthday. You're looking forward to your life and all the changes that come when we are in a happy place. However, these happy endings also relates to choices that we have made in this recent past that at first might have made us feel indecisive, not sure whether it was the right thing to do or not. But all of a sudden, we're starting to understand that yes, actually, I was unclear, I was unsure. But now, looking at things from a different perspective, I am glad that I made that decision because it's making me feel like it was a good decision. I trusted myself and the outcome is satisfaction. When I look at this number in tarot, 9 plus 3 is 12, and this is the energy of the hangman. 1 plus 2 is 3, and this is the energy of the Empress. Now, let's get a little bit more specific. And this is where I would encourage you to use your imagination and work with this information in accordance to whatever situation you're in. I see here a situation that you have somehow had to put a stop to it. Something, a dynamic that is not necessarily playing out in the way that you want it to. And now it's forcing you to make a decision, to make a choice, to put a stop to it. The energy of the hangman represents things that makes us feel insecure, situations that are challenging us as a person. It's challenging our beliefs, our core values. For that reason, now we need to take a break and put a stop to the interaction so that we can reassess the situation and see whether we want to continue to nurture and nourish the situation. This is why the energy of the Empress is here. Very feminine energy that represents abundance, represents the nourishment that we give to things in order to get something. Okay, so the energy of the masculine archetype that we have within us, it behaves in a very different way. It normally comes with the card of death, stopping something completely and in a very aggressive way because it no longer works for us. With the energy, sorry, I don't know why it got so dark, you noticed that, right? With the energy of the feminine, we're coming from a different perspective, and that perspective is, I know enough, I know better. I've done this before so many times that for me to do it once again is only going to create the same patterns of behavior and repetition that I've had before. So here I can see that many of you are observing this situation, and with the knowledge that you have right now, you're understanding that sometimes in order to gain something, we have to let go of something else. In order to attract the things that we do want, or I should rephrase it, Virgo, to the things that I really need, it requires me to let go of something that we want, something that is important to us because we feel a connection, we feel an affinity, but it's not playing out exactly in a way that makes us feel good. It's not supporting our well-being. And now we're being forced to step back, reconsider, and make a choice. So here we have made a choice that in a form of sacrifice, because we've come to understand that unless we appreciate ourselves, unless we support our well-being, nobody else will do it for us. It has to begin with ourselves. And not until we do that, then we cannot have, or we cannot be surrounded by people that will support that well-being too. So here, the forces that are causing you to step back and reconsider, right? Situations that might have looked in the beginning as the ideal situation, great opportunity, exactly what I was hoping for, and with time it changed and it's showing you highs and lows, and I would say that it's showing you more of the lows than highs, and you are paying attention and you're reconsidering, has to do with Pisces. Okay, we're talking here about the 12th house, Virgo, and we know that Pisces has a lot to do with our soul purpose, subconscious mind, the unconscious, the unseen, right? And a lot of how we connect to that energy or that aspect of us is through our intuition. So with Pisces, we're dealing with the subconscious mind, soul purpose, our soul purpose, and the other card that comes, because we know that 12 plus, I said 9 plus 3 is 12, Pisces, and 1 plus 2 is 3, Gemini. So here we are now bringing our instincts and intuition to the heart of the situation. And we're looking, right, with Gemini to the nature of this situation, the good side and the not so good. And we are putting it into a balance and asking ourselves if this is what we want, if this is what we need, because ultimately it's not always what we want that works for us is what we need. So here with Gemini, which is ruled by the same planet as you, Virgo, Mercury, that talks about self-expression. But in this case, with Gemini, is dealing more at a personal level, the two sides of something and how it is that we can make it work to our benefit, right? In order for us to know whether we have what it takes to make something work for us, we have to understand the nature of our own limitations, okay? Not only of our capabilities, because we all bring our own to work with, our own tools, our own gift, but also the nature of our limitations. And understanding that side of us, which some of us call it the dark side, the shadow side, when we understand our own shadow side, and then we have a better understanding of what choices to make according to each situation. So here, right, we are starting to understand that, look, although the situation looked very promising, I myself have to be very honest with myself about what I am capable of achieving. And based on my past experiences, based on the repetition that I've been creating in my life, time after time, it is time for me to accept that it is only me who allows for something to enter in my life and create a space for that thing. I have to take responsibility for my own choices. And I have to discern, and I have to come to terms that not everything that I think is good for me is what I need. And this is basically what this energy is talking. So if for whatever reason you're here right now listening to this video and you have been questioning to yourself what to do in whatever situation that you're in your life right now, where you're unsure of how to handle it because there is one part of you that wants in it and that wants to continue to pursue that situation, while the other part of you is showing you and demonstrating you that it doesn't work. And then the reason why you're questioning, the reason why you're doubting, the reason why you're struggling, my friends, is because with Pisces here, you're being reminded that you have a soul purpose. You're being reminded that life has much, much more than what sometimes we believe it's there. However, energies in this reality, Virgo, in this physical reality, express themselves in two different ways. And if you have not reached that level of understanding of how to make these two energies cooperate to your benefit and to your advantage, and then you need to rethink. You need to be more conscientious of what you're going to do, of what you're going to choose. Because the next energy that comes out in numerology comes with the number 19. And 19 here talks about pride. And this is not a pride that has to do with our ego, that it has to do with, I have to get my way because I have to prove to the world what I'm capable of. I have to prove to my loved ones that I am worthy. No. This is not the type of pride we're talking about here. This is the pride that says that you, as part of existence, come with your own capabilities. Come with your own gifts. Do you know what they are? Have you learned what your gifts are? This also talks about the need of only prove to yourself what you're worth, and not do things for the sake of others, for the sake of proving others what you can be. This is about understanding that not everybody that is here has the responsibility to save the world. And the only way that you can show your self-worth is by saving the world. Because sometimes, Virgo, something as simple as an insignificant job as being a garbage collector can make a world of difference in the life of many. Imagine if we don't have the people that picks up the garbage, if we wouldn't have that kind of people. Imagine if we wouldn't have a plumber or an electrician. I mean, there's all of these jobs that, according to our society, are not worthy or don't have the status that requires you to shine. Imagine if we wouldn't have those people. What would we become? What our reality would be like? So this pride here is talking about being aware that whatever it is, whatever potential you have, whether it's something small or something big, to acknowledge that or take pride of what that is. Because everything in existence is an aspect of the greater being that we know as Creator. And each one of us is playing a part, a very important part in the consciousness of who we are right now. So it's funny that with this energy of pride, the celestial forces that are affecting this energy here is one, Saturn. And we know that Saturn is not a benevolent energy. It's a very aggressive energy if we do not understand its nature. Saturn, they say that is the father of our social life, is the basic and structure of our habits, the structures or the choices we're going to make daily, is the father of time, and that all of it is true. Saturn is also the pedal, the brake in your car, stops you to reconsider when you have an inspiration. And it gives you the structure that you're going to use in your everyday life to do the thing you want to do. So you could have many ideas, Virgo, but ultimately, in the way that you play out those ideas in your everyday life is being influenced by this energy, Saturn. Now, karma also is dealt by this energy. And this is a word that not everybody likes. This is a word that a lot of people use it in a very negative way, when in reality it's not. And the reason being, my friends, is because when you do not understand a subject, when you don't have all the elements that you need in order to understand it better, that's what karma is. That's what creates situations in your life that can be very challenging. And that is because you chose to relate to a situation in a very limited way. And that's where the energy of that word ignorance comes in. So it's not in an accusatory way or to judge you. It's because you're ignoring other elements that are very much important and needed for you to create the harmony that you desire. Saturn, the reason why it's such a aggressive energy, if we can call it that way, is because it can sometimes, through your head and the way you think, push you to make a decision without taking into account that there are many other elements that are needed in order for you to have a better experience. And it kind of sort of flirts with you and plays with you in a way that you can speed up the process or accelerate the decision before the right time. In other words, Saturn sometimes tells you, hey, you have free will. Do whatever you want. And from that perspective, we can make a choice, premature, but then the consequences come. So with Saturn, there's always the reminder, Virgo, that in everything we do, we're always going to have consequences. And although this energy of consequences can represent a lot of negativity, and the reason being is because the consequences could be positive or may not. It is the representation of what you have chosen in a given time. So with Saturn, although we're always making choices, right? We always have to prove ourselves if the nature of our thoughts, in the way that we organize them in our everyday life, in the structure of our life, how we are incorporating it as we get up in the morning, when we go to work with the people that we, connect, how we use those ideas are going to determine the effect or the results of our own experiences. So Saturn is always saying, hey, how are you going to play that out? You have new ideas, how are you going to play them out in your everyday life? Because I will be your mirror. I will demonstrate you how those ideas play out in your everyday life. And that's karma. Karma is our ability to use our thoughts through repetition in our everyday life as we nurture them to create our life experiences. Isn't that interesting? So here with Saturn, we have Capricorn, because as you could see, 1 plus 9, 19 is Capricorn. But then 10 is 1, and that's how I figure, this is how I get my cards, is Aries. So as you can see, Saturn, Virgo, is emphasizing house of Capricorn, which is 10, but also house number 1, which is Aries. Okay? And what is the astrological house, the first astrological house in astrology? Aries. I am. Who am I? So many of you, if you've been asking yourself in recent times, who am I? Am I happy with myself? Can I look at myself in the mirror and be happy with what I see? And if I'm not, what am I going to do about it? Can I blame other people for what I don't have? Or can I take responsibility for my own actions and start changing myself? Because there are things that I see that I'm not really happy about. But right now, in this world of change, I have the opportunity to find the knowledge that will assist me through this change. Would I be willing to change? Do I have what it takes to change? Can I trust myself? And that I amness is what comes with Aries, right? We know that Aries is ruled by Mars. very raw power energy that comes to gives us the inspiration, but also the push to move through the obstacles. However, if we're not clear how to use that energy to our benefit, we can create a lot of conflict, because we know that Mars is a planet of war. So if we are going through a difficult time here, and our approach, Virgo, is to have to prove a point, because I want to show you what I know, and I want to demonstrate you that I am right, that's going to create a lot of resistance, my friend. Why? Because you have here Mars in the background together with Saturn, two forces that are very aggressive, and using those forces through you to express who you are, even though you might be right, it's not going to work to your benefit. And it's going to defeat the purpose, because people are not going to get your point. All they're going to feel is your aggression. So this is where the Spirit is saying, reconsider in the way you respond to a situation that in reality has to do with the next card that came out for you, karmic completion. And it comes with a number 10, and the number 10 is Capricorn. Once again, so as you could see, you have 19, which is pride by Saturn, and we know that 1 plus 9 is 10, right? Capricorn. So Capricorn comes twice, and 1 comes twice, which is Aries. So now it's focusing on every aspect of your life, because the aim here is that when we start working in our own house, in our own temple, which does not begin in the place that you reside, it begins with your own self, with this. This is your own temple, your own house. When you start making the necessary changes and you start becoming clear of who you are, what you're about how to work with your potential, how to work with your gifts, with your capabilities, with your skills, without having to please anyone, the nature of your energy changes. And now you know that you don't have to always depend on the people that are unreliable to support you. And you will not get the people that will eventually support you in your journey until you believe it first. Oh, dilemma. Ooh, interesting, right? Not until you learn to accept and appreciate yourself, you're not going to get the people around you that will support you in the same way. And in the meantime, you then have to understand that there are people around you right now that vibrationally may not be in the same place that you are. They may be momentarily, right? Because you may be attracting options and situations that at first may seem like, wow, this is exactly what I was needing. Oh my God, I'm going to go for that. So you might have made a choice where you felt like, oh, I want to do this. And a week has passed, or 2 weeks, where you're now like indecisive because the connection or the energy that brought that person to you, or that option, or that experience is not the same. And now you're having second thoughts and you're asking yourself, wait a minute, do I really keep trying to see whether this is it? What do I do now? Because at first this seemed like the ideal situation, but now it's not playing out. So what is going on here? Do I continue? Do I change to comply and put myself out there and try a little harder to make it work? Or do I just step back and reconsider? But I just told everyone around me that this situation is coming up and what are people going to think of me? That once again, I'm changing my mind, and once again, I don't know what I'm talking about, and I'm all over the place, because a lot of times, we commit to do things because we're ashamed of what other people may say, right? But here is saying, hey, there's a lot of planets, there's a lot of celestial forces that are influencing you right now. And the reason why this may feel very uncomfortable to you, because you have not come to that point yet to understand how to manipulate these forces, or at least how to work with these forces. And not until you do so, these forces are going to play with you quite a bit. Because here we have Pisces. Gemini, we know that is ruled by Mercury, and Mercury is your planet, self-expression. We have Saturn, and it deals with when we stop to create systems that can work for us. We have Aries, Mars, inspiration. And then we have Capricorn, the house of Capricorn, which it has to do with how are we going to incorporate what we know in our society. If we believe that our knowledge and our skills are going to help other people in society, what kind of life am I going to live, and what kind of work I am going to do that I can participate of this dance where all of us come together in a society? And some of you may be struggling with that because there are things that you know very clear, and one of them may be that you don't want to keep doing the work that you were doing before. And you want to do something else, and deep down you know what that is, but you don't know how to go about it. You don't know how to achieve that goal. And that not knowing can create a level of insecurity that may push you into making decisions that are not necessarily working to your benefit. And that could be stay in a situation that is unhealthy for you. So here the universe is saying, look, you've created, in the way that you're moving, your energy is evolving. There is a completion here where there's certain things that happened in your past that your lack of understanding created an imbalance. But the person that you are right now is a very different person. And you have an opportunity now. And it's to make a choice, not based on what happened to you 10 years ago, 5 years ago, or a month ago. It's based on what your intuition tells you right now. And if your intuition is not telling you anything, it's not telling you to move or do anything, don't do it. If your intuition, you sense that you need to do something, ask yourself what that is. And make sure that it's not that inner voice that sometimes is yakking away based on an insecurity that comes from not feeling good enough. Because with Saturn here, although it's asking you to create a system that can assist you to ground your new ideas, can also keep you trapped into making choices that are based on things that will continue to make you give your power away. So now Spirit is saying, be very cautious. The type of things that you're choosing to do during this time, the things you want to learn, the type of groups you want to participate, the type of people that you want to surround yourself with, the type of partnerships that you want to retain. Because with Saturn here, there could be the difficulty of being caught in a situation that you feel like you are trapped, and that will force you to make a choice that will definitely require you to give your power away. And that's part of the power struggle that we're having right now in this planet, around the world. That the forces of good and evil are, there's a power struggle. And we're very clear, and we're becoming very aware of what is good and what is not. Because not everything that we thought it was good, it was. So now we're starting to really feel the confusion and how it is that we were led in a path that was not really good. And the idea or the feeling that we can get from not being capable of overcoming our challenges can make us choose to remain trapped. And as we are ending this karmic cycle, we can start a new one by creating the same thing. So with the number 10 karmic cycle, as I said, the energy of Capricorn is reinforced, and the energy of the I am. So on one end is asking you to look at your life in a very sincere way. Be honest with yourself. Don't lie to yourself. Don't deceive yourself. Because your level of sincerity in the way that you look at yourself will help you create an image to the world where you're not going to fool other people, but other people are not going to fool you. And from there, you're going to be able to connect with the right people, because here it talks about the Wheel of Fortune with number 10 and 1 with the Magician. So on one side, we have Pride, the Magician, with the Sun, having the clarity. Some of you are very clear, but some of you may not. But from the level of clarity, depending on your level of clarity in your life, in the crossroad that you find yourself, will determine the Wheel of Fortune. And this Wheel of Fortune, Virgo, look at it really well. This is not something that only comes to some people because they deserve it and you don't. This is not fortune and abundance. It's not an energy that is limited. It's energy that is a wealth of energy that can come in many forms. But you have to allow it. You have to let it come in your life. And the only way that you can stop this energy is by the way you think. So you have to be the creator of your reality, and you will create your own good fortune. But that requires you in the now to be very clear and honest as to where you're at, to what are your limitations, your insecurities. And not until you recognize those, you're not going to be able to stop whoever these people are or these situations of pain from happening. And as you can see, the Wheel of Fortune on one end represents abundance in every form, but it also represents karma, which is here the completion of a cycle in which we're starting fresh, but it also relates to Saturn. So there are choices here, right? Either you create a path, you choose a path by following your heart desires, your instincts, and what you really are meant to do based on your own knowledge, because here you're being represented with the camel energy, and that camel comes with the snake. And these cards are telling me that many of you have the insights that you need in order to live your life and create your life in a positive way without giving your power away. Because I will tell you, this particular reading ultimately, what it's talking about, opportunities that are coming your way in which you choose them, and the effect of that choice is either going to give your power away or not. That's the bottom line. And we had to go kind of to all of that to get to this. Our power is not taken away by others. We give it away. Sometimes we give it away willingly, and sometimes we don't. But we still give it away. And here is opportunities that are coming where are questioning as to what are you going to do? What are you ready to do? And in those things that you're ready to do, is it giving your power away? Do you think that in order to have what you need, you have to depend on somebody else? Or you can attain it directly by understanding the forces that are constantly affecting this reality? Because once you do understand them, you can get it yourself. It does not mean that you may not need the help of others. We always do. But the question is the help that we're getting is from the right people? Not people that at first are asking one thing and then later is a different thing. So as you can see with the camel, we know that it's a vehicle of transportation in the desert where it has the ability to keep water in its pouch for those areas where there's no water. And you have that ability. And we know that water is an element that talks about emotions, but it talks about wisdom. And you have it. The snake, it once again representing that wisdom. And as you can see in the center of the snake, you see the flower of life. For those of you who do not know what that is the tree of life, and it represents our genetic blueprint, which is our soul. So when we understand who we are, and we're talking here about, much more than this physical body, we can then activate codes in our DNA that can help us integrate information that allow us to explore this reality where we can have the celestial forces working to our benefit. And who doesn't want that? And that requires us to go inside. Not to wait for things to change around us. No, it requires us to go inside ourselves and dig deeply into ourselves and find all of those corners where we have left unattended and integrate that information into our lives. And you have that ability. Now, when I see the other person that you're dealing with here, because here, for those of you who are dealing with people, right, in a specific, the elephant and the dolphin come out, which tells me that for those of you that I had to do with a relationship, because, like I said, mold this information to whatever occurrence are happening in your life. shape it in the way that you see it fit. And for some of you, it has to do with a relationship. For some of you, it may have to be with family members or work, whatever it is. But for those of you who's with a particular someone, here we're talking about someone who there is a level of affinity that is quite strong, because this person that is a good person, they come with the energy of elephant, which is the element of fire. You come with the camel. But as you can see, these are two large animals that they have their own style, right? Because a camel and an elephant, they're not the same. However, they're big. They have their own style, their own wisdom, and they come with the element of fire. Actually, I should not say that's not true. I think one comes with the element of water and the other one with the element of fire, which are two different elements, okay? And the energy that comes with them, one is the element of earth and the other one is the element of water. So you have two water here, and I'm sorry because I said fire before. Two water, and we have a fire and an earth. So as you could see, two people with their own qualities, with their own knowledge, and they have their own style of doing things. And although vibrationally you may come together because there's a level of affinity, ultimately you may end up going your own way because you just don't want the same things. You may offer each other a certain level of support in a given moment, but it's not long term. Because what this person desires to what you desire may be in the way of doing it differently. And Spirit here is saying you have to honor that. You have to understand that not everybody that knocks on your door that you may have an affinity with may be the ideal person in your life. And to not continue to recreate these patterns of repetition, you have to be conscientious of not giving up your identity to please others and finally recognize your own self-worth. One last thing. There are more things that are going to happen to you, Virgo, that are going to feel like things are falling apart. But Spirit here is saying don't let those things change you and your perspective about life and what you've learned about you. Because as you continue to be, strong in your convictions, the energy of the Chariot will overcome this tower or these towers, whatever they are in your life. And it will lead you into the energy of the Empress, as you could see the level of transformation of this Empress. So on the bottom, she's sitting here and she's had to make a decision just like a man to be able to protect herself or itself from whatever is causing the, agitation. But you will learn a lot to understand how to make your decisions, to understand what works for you, to understand what really matters to you. And the outcome of that is the energy of the Pope. What happened to that card? Oh, here it is. The Hierophant. Which once again, it brings you into becoming the role model. A role model for the people around you. And this is a card that has come in many readings for you, representing your energy. This is not the time for you to become somebody else's student because you don't know any better. Maybe for some of you, this is the case. For other ones of you, you may still need a little bit of, you have more work to do. I mean, it depends on how you resonate with this message. But here, ultimately, keeping in mind a lot of the messages that are given here to you, whether you choose to follow them or not, if you do, it'll take you to this place. You being able to help others. You become a role model to others of what is possible and how to ease all of those areas of your life where there's conflict. So here we're learning and we're becoming aware of how to respond, because for karma to create an imbalance in our life, it's not about the choices that we make that creates the imbalance, Virgo. It's the emotions that we feel in the moment of choice. Even when we're not making the choice, it's how we respond emotionally to the situation at hand. That is the fuel that creates many of the experiences that we have to overcome. So becoming aware, right, at that level of sensitive, being sensitive and aware to the subtleties of our emotions, it's also the key to smooth out a lot of those bumpy roads that sometimes we have to walk through or navigate through. I hope you understand the point of the video. I hope you understand the messages that are given here. And remember, it's a very important time because you have completed a cycle and you want to make sure that you get the lesson, that you finally get it, so that you don't have to continue to do the same thing over and over. However, it's important that in this process you don't create any expectations, because you're not only harmonizing things that happened a week ago or 2 months ago or a year ago, you're harmonizing lifetimes. You're also harmonizing ancestral patterns that you have inherited over time, and not until they're over, they're not over. So we have to honor whatever comes up for us in the moment. But here, the karmic completion is a big one, because it's about realizing our self-worth, and it's implementing behaviors that demonstrate how we feel about ourselves above all things. So thank you for listening, and I wish you the best of luck. Till next time, many blessings to you.